All right, let's talk about one of the most famous buildings on the planet. We're going to peel back the layers on this place, and trust me, what's hiding inside might just completely change the way you think about it. I mean, you've seen this building a million times, right? It's on postcards, it's in movies, it's basically the symbol of Russia. But the real story, well, it's a wild one. It's about a brutal czar, a so-called holy fool who wasn't afraid of him, and a mind-blowing secret about what's actually inside those famous walls. So there it is, standing right in the heart of Moscow's Red Square, an absolute icon. But here's your first little hint that there's more to the story than meets the eye. The name everyone calls it St. Basil's, yet that's not even its real name. Okay, so to really get this place, you have to know about the two guys whose stories are quite literally built into its foundation. And they could not be more different. One was this terrifying ruler, and the other, well, he was a beloved and very, very strange man. And this is where things get really interesting. See, the guy who ordered it built, that was Tsar Ivan IV. You probably know him better as Ivan the Terrible. He wanted a massive monument to his own military might. But the guy it's actually named for, Vasily the Blessed, this was a man who called out the Tsar for his cruelty right to his face. And get this, today, it's Vasily who's buried there in the place of honor. How does that happen? So yeah, how does a homeless holy guy famous for being eccentric, to put it mildly, end up with his name on a czar's monument to himself? It's a great question. Let's dig into who this St. Basil character actually was. You know, Vasily's life was, well, it was something else. This guy would often walk around naked, even in the dead of a Russian winter. He gave away every single thing he had to the poor. And he had the nerve, the sheer audacity, to call out Ivan the Terrible in church for day journeying. Can you imagine? Nobody else would have dreamed of doing that and living to tell the tale. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. This sounds totally bizarre to us today. But in Russia at the time, this was actually a thing. He was what's known as a Urodovy, or a fool for Christ. These were considered holy people who acted crazy on purpose to kind of shake people out of their everyday lives and speak truth to power. It gave them this incredible protection, this unique authority to say things no one else could, even to the Tsar.
So you've got this really complicated history, right? And you can see it reflected in the building itself. Which brings us to probably the biggest shock of all about St. Basil's. What's actually on the inside? I love this quote from a visitor because it just sums up what everyone thinks. You look at that magnificent outside, and you assume you're going to walk into this giant, wide-open space, right? Like a typical huge cathedral. Yeah, that is not at all what you get.
The truth is, St. Basil's isn't one church. It's 10. 10 separate, tiny little churches, all kind of clustered together under that one incredible roof. So the way it was built, it's a collection of 9 original chapels. Each one was for a different victory in Ivan's war, and they're all sort of arranged around a main church in the center. It's this incredible contrast, you know? What looks so huge and unified from the outside is actually a cramped, narrow labyrinth of little prayer rooms. And then in 1588, they added that 10th chapel, for one very specific reason, to hold the tomb of St. Basil. And that right there, that shrine over his grave, that's the whole reason why. It's why the people of Moscow started calling the whole place St. Basil's Cathedral, not, I don't know, Ivan's Victory Cathedral. This spot became the true spiritual heart of the building. But hey, the surprises aren't just on the inside. Let's talk about the most famous part of the whole building, those unbelievable domes. They're a mystery in their own right. Okay, first off, here's a mind blower for you. All those bright, crazy, candy-striped colors you think of, they weren't there originally. Nope, the cathedral was first built to be plain white with gold domes to match the nearby Kremlin. It wasn't until the 1600s that they added all that wild color, and the story goes they were inspired by descriptions of heaven in the Book of Revelation. But what about that iconic onion shape? Why do they look like that? Well, the honest answer is, nobody really knows for sure. There are a bunch of theories. Some people get symbolic, saying they look like candle flames. Others are more practical. That shape is great for dumping off heavy snow. Or maybe it's just a cool mashup of older church styles. There's even a theory that the whole layout was influenced by the Italian Renaissance. The jury's still out. The design was so new, so stunning that it created one of the most famous and terrifying legends in all of architecture.
The story is that Ivan the Terrible took one look at the finished cathedral and was so blown away that he ordered his architects to be blinded. Why? So they could never again build anything so beautiful. Now, it's almost certainly not true, just a legend. But the fact that people told that story tells you everything you need to know about how incredible this building was.
And the drama doesn't stop with Ivan the Terrible. Not even close. The cathedral's journey through the last couple of centuries is just as intense. It's really become this incredible symbol of survival. Honestly, the fact that it's still standing is a miracle. It was badly damaged in a fire. Then, after the Bolshevik Revolution, the state seized it and turned it into a museum. But its biggest brush with Beth came in the 1930s. Joseph Stalin literally ordered it to be demolished just to make more room for military parades. It was only saved because one brave architect basically said, "You'll have to go through me," and threatened to kill himself right there on the front steps. I mean, wow. To go from that to being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, that is just an unbelievable story.
So, in the end, what is this place? Is it a monument to a tyrant's ego? Or is it a testament to the holy man who wasn't afraid to speak truth to that tyrant? Think about it. It was built to scream Ivan the Terrible won a war, but the people, and history itself, decided to name it after the quiet, strange man who stood for something else entirely. It's a pretty powerful reminder that sometimes what lasts isn't what the powerful build, but what the people